Hello, sweet soul. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever looked at your life and thought, this isn't where I thought I would be by now? Maybe you imagined being married. Maybe you thought you'd have children, a career you loved, financial freedom, confidence, peace, or maybe you simply thought that life would hurt a little less than it does today. If you've ever felt that way, I want to tell you something that completely changed how I see healing. I don't think we're only grieving people that we've lost. Sometimes we're grieving versions of ourselves that never got the chance to fully exist. I don't think we talk about this enough. When someone passes away, we understand grief. When a relationship ends, we understand grief. But what about grieving the future you spent years imagining? The mother you had hoped to become? The athlete, the artist, the traveler, the partner, the person who believed everything would somehow work out by now. The grief is real, even if no one else can see it. From a psychological perspective, something fascinating happens. Our brains naturally create stories about the future. Those stories become part of our identity long before they ever happen. So, when life changes direction, it doesn't just feel like we've lost a goal. It can feel like we've lost a piece of ourselves. And that's why disappointment can hurt so deeply. You're not only mourning an event. You're mourning an identity. But here's the beautiful part. Our brains are also remarkably adaptable. This is where neuroplasticity comes in. Neuroplasticity is our brain's ability to reorganize, learn, and create new pathways throughout our lives. In other words, the story you imagined isn't the only story your brain is capable of embracing. It doesn't erase the sadness. It simply means your future isn't over because one version of it disappeared. I remember reading something that has stayed with me. Trees don't grieve because they aren't blooming in the winter. They understand the season they're in. And yet somehow, as humans, we expect ourselves to bloom every single day. Silly humans. We compare our winter to someone else's spring. We call ourselves failures because our timeline doesn't match theirs. Nature never does that. Maybe we don't have to either. Now, I'd like you to imagine something. Imagine walking into a quiet room. Inside that room is every version of you that has ever existed. The child, the teenager, the dreamer, the one who had their heart broken, the one who is exhausted, the one who's still quietly hoping. Which version of you do you think you would be the hardest on you today? I honestly don't think any of them would. I think the child would simply be amazed that you survived. I think the teenager would be proud you kept searching for who you are. I think the version who was heartbroken would smile knowing love didn't completely close your heart. And I think every version of you would thank the present version for carrying them here. One of the most healing things we can do isn't becoming someone new. It's becoming and welcoming back the parts of ourselves we thought we'd lost, to become whole again. The playful part, the curious part, the hopeful part, the gentle part. They're rarely gone. They're usually just waiting until life feels safe enough to come back. That's actually why I wrote tonight's bedtime story. The room where every version of you was waiting. Because I wanted to create a place where those different parts of ourselves could finally meet again. Not to judge one another. Not to ask why life turned out so differently. But simply to come home. So, if you've been carrying the weight of the life you thought you would have, I hope you'll give yourself permission to grieve it. Not because your story is over, but because every ending deserves compassion before a new chapter begins. And maybe, just maybe, the person you're becoming isn't a consolation prize for the life you imagined. Maybe there's someone even wiser, even kinder, even more beautifully human than you could have planned. Thank you for spending these moments with me, sweet soul. If this conversation found you at the right time, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's one version of yourself you'd like to give a hug to today? You never know. Your answer might be exactly what another sweet soul needed to read. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and remember, every version of you has helped create the person sitting here right now today. And I think that that's something truly beautiful. Good night, sweet soul, and thank you for being here.